Hello, hello, hello. Cold open because I'm on a different platform, even though you guys are seeing me at my usual spot. I actually also bring this to Geek Insider on the Rising Tide publications page on Facebook. Sorry, I'm trying to get my screen share up. I'm going to do something I normally don't do. There's one person I've never really advocated for, one person that I'm always overlooking and I'm always shortchanging when it comes to advocating. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that because this person deserves a lot more than I give them. I've kind of been rude and mean to them. I haven't treated them with the respect they deserve. And that's me. I don't ever treat myself as good as I treat everyone else. I want to change that. I don't want to treat myself any better, but I sure as hell want to advocate for myself as much as I advocate for everyone else. I'm a very passionate creator, and I see that even in my earlier works. Being able to go back and look at the earlier works, I have nothing to be ashamed of. Yes, I can do things differently now. I can bring out more of a polished product. But ultimately, I created stories, and I want to take some time to talk to you about that and talk to you about my past, my journey, and I want to show you two of my friends' comic series that are crowdfunding right now. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. There's no show opening, so we're going to dive right into it. And I'll explain it a little bit. We'll take a break to talk about one of my friends, and then we'll come back. I don't expect this show to be earth-shattering long. This is honestly an infomercial for my project right now. And I hope you guys are going to ask some questions and enjoy what you see. So let's get started. Here's my current project. And if you have any questions, please, please, please ask away. But here we go. This is the intro to my latest project. And what's going on, Meredith? And hi, Sarah. Hey, everybody. Rob Anderson here, known as the Uncanny Comics Indie Devil who advocates for comic books. There was a time I wasn't any of that. I was just a guy looking to create comics. That's what you're going to see. My origin in comic book creating. From the time I used actual newspaper articles and headlines to create a comic, the time I used action figures to tell a story in a comic book, and even the time I was the artist on the comic book. We're going to talk about bullying. We're going to show stories about an alternate way that workers' comp could potentially be in the future. Some of these stories you've never seen before. Some of them are going to have explanations, and you're going to get a little bit of an insight. This is my creative journey, and I thank you for taking the time to watch the video and spend some of that creative journey with me. Please check out the rewards. There's a lot of great stuff, and if you're a fan of the things I do, this is your way to find out where it all began. Now I opened it up a little bigger so we can see. I've gotten 8 amazing backers, already raised $72. I did not mean to want it to raise $50. That was supposed to be $500. It was a last-minute editing issue, I guess. I did not see that I did it. At one point, it was for $500, and $500 is just what I need to make to be able to produce the book and make it make sense. The good news is everything is produced. Most of my Kickstarters to this date have been 100% produced with a little bit of background stuff, maybe some lettering, maybe some tweaks. But otherwise, the book is ready to print, and it's no different here, especially considering this collects a lot of the older stuff. I'm just going to take a few minutes, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the different projects that are involved in this. I wanted to give you a short video there, but I also wanted to take the time to explain what all those different projects were. So if you bear with me, I will give you a peek of a lot of the things that are within that project. And of course, I'm going to bring up 2 other great creators during this because, you know, I like advocating for people, and I'm never going to stop because I enjoy knowing that I can help someone else dreams come true. And, you know, this is a little bit about the background, but we're going to jump over that real quick. We're going to start with New York Reporter. So when I say it's like a newspaper, I'm not kidding. This is New York Reporter, and you guys can see that I shrunk it down a little bit. We can make it a little bigger. So you're getting real stories. I have background built an actual city, which is New York, of course. And this overall was supposed to take place probably in 2020 in my mind when I was writing this. These stories started back in 2002 after September 11th. That's how long ago all this started for me. Sorry, I sneezed off camera. I didn't want you guys to hear that. Russell Allen, what's up? And thank you, Sarah. Sarah says, hey there to all who's in here along with Rob. And she said, I love your passion for what you do. And Meredith said, howdy, howdy. And Russell said, what's up? What's up, Russell? So you guys can see, I actually originally, so when I first started this in 2012, this was the first thing I'd created, was just the covers. So I told it an entire comic book using headlines. That was it. The entire thing was headlines. So the next year in 2013, I got hurt at work, and I wanted to continue my journey. We didn't have a lot of money. I couldn't pay for an artist. So what I did is I actually continued what I did with the headlines, but I expanded it because I had written a lot for these characters. There was a lot of information. So I took all the covers and I basically made them into expanded things. And you guys will see some funny things that I created. The rope bomb. That's where you could pull rope out of an actual container and be able to do things with rope. And you guys can see some of the stories. You'll see some throwbacks. Now, this is a revamped one, so it brings up the Monsters book that I was involved with. And you'll see some ads. Some of the ads are old, some are new. Night Crew, the movie, is a story I really wrote. And it's one that I might really do. But you could see fall 2015 was my estimate of that being made into... At the time, I called it a movie, but I didn't know if it was going to be a movie. But I was aiming to release the comic book at least in 2015. So, and I made that back in 2012, giving myself 3 years. The Regenerator, again, that is something I've really written, and that's a container with smoke in it with duct tape at the bottom. It's all it was. This is like the low, I'm going to make something out of nothing moment in my career. And this impressed a lot of people because they saw me doing this stuff. You know, and I was walking with canes, Gothic Blue. Some girls are born to kick ass. And that's a really good slogan. My sister, actually, Shorty, created Gothic Blue, and she's allowed me to write the character, and that's been a big honor. And you guys can see, like, I was very into some political ideas here. And some of the things, it's funny, like, you look back at it now, and everything's changed. Evilbook.com was like a funny story I wanted to make where you could actually, evil people could get henchmen, find heroes' weaknesses, use our perfect hideout finder. I thought it would be a cute comic book idea. And these are still ideas I might explore. And again, you guys can see it, like after the full corpse become too huge to fail. And I had begun writing this, like I said, in 2002. We had Occupy Wall Street that took over Wall Street for a while, and I was inspired a little bit more on the story. This story is one of those things, and it's for Dark Justice, and we'll get there, where I've constantly had a bigger story to tell that I never got around to it. Kids of the Creators, that's another thing we never got around to doing. The next book after Jax the AnderSiN was always supposed to be Kids of Creators. It was supposed to be a giant coloring book. So, like, I got to go and look back at all these things, and I got to imagine these ideas. As I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, I never really got to do that. And it kind of motivated me. It made me so excited. And I really wasn't impressed by the fact that even back then I had so much passion. I mean, if you get this story, there's so much world building. I don't know why I said that. Gravedigger is another great story that I do want to tell at one point in my career. Here's Dark Justice. That's obviously something. And a little bit of editorial stuff that I added. So a little bit of the editorial stuff that I've been doing. There is the New York City Vigilante Justice, and it tells a story, and I'm going to lead into it. But you can even see this was released, and I'm going to leave these things in. This was actually me talking about trying to get, you'd see New York Reporter, and this was a special handout in 2015. So what I wound up doing is the first year in 2002, I wound up bringing in Kinko copies. That's right, my first comic book, and for those who have it, was a Kinko's copy. Well, at the Staples, in fairness. It was a Staples copy bound, stapled together, and I handed that out to some people at Buddy Scalera's New York Comic Con. Then, the next year in 2013, I hurt my back. We don't have a lot of money. So what I did is I released all the inner stories because I still had some of the covers and I had the stories, and I told people, hey, pick one or the other. The third year in 2014, again, money's tight because of everything that's going on. Workman's Comp screwing with me, and you guys are going to hear a little bit about that. And Painbox coming up. I put it all together, and I do this in 2014. I do a color version. I do all that to a different book, and I have a color version of that book. 2015, I collected it all for the first time, and I had one giant book of all the stuff I did, and I gave that out. And that was the last time I ever had a stapled copy, because no, this wasn't a stapled copy. This was the first time, 2015. It wasn't Staples. It was a real comic book by Kablam, and I was handing them out. I was so proud of myself. And it was a big moment, man. There's nothing like it. I got my little boy behind me who I'm just going to duck my head in to look at while we're talking. There's nothing as powerful as the first moments you see your comic books. I cannot express that to you enough. The first time you hold your comics, it's magic. It's just magic. Sarah says, that looks badass. Thank you. Rope. Exactly. Rope, right? And it's funny because you guys will see like some of the things that we're going to go through today. You're going to see the first time I actually mentioned Barbara Unleashed in its original name. So many works I have never heard of, but would love to see what's done with it down the road. Yeah, me too. Me too. Trust me. Meredith says, I like that it looks like a newspaper, but I see the evolution of some of the text styling in Barbara. Yes. Yes. So very good, Meredith. So having done this inspires me to tell the fetish book I have, Barbara Unleashed, in a completely new format. I took what I learned here and I did things very differently. So you can, like, a lot of this inspires me. And then even WrittenSiNs Productions, the Stop the Reboot Culture, that's our very first website. That launched back in 2015. Okay. That is now comicbookadvocates.com. That's right. We re-released creators. We rebranded, and it started a new URL in 2016. That's why we celebrated 4 years this year of Comic Book Advocates. And I'm very proud of everything we've done. Super proud of everything we've done. I hope that we can continue to do it down the line. You know, it does become one of those things where these things get a little costly and time-consuming. I love doing the things I do for everyone. I want to continue to do that, but, you know, sometimes you also need some money to come up. And you guys will see some other things I wrote. There are actual other stories out there that I've written that won't even make some of them. I'm going to do a novel later in the year. When I do a novel later in the year, some of these stories will not make the novel purposely, because I do want them to go somewhere else. And here you go. This is actually the back page. And I did a back page just to look like a sports thing. And I actually had some interesting, these are the remaining papers that were out there. But somewhere in here, you'll actually see mention of actual sports, because I actually did talk about sports of the future as well. So very interesting. So that brings us to the Dark Justice. So this is the first comic book I do. Now, this I do after I've had surgery. So I've major back surgery. And at the last Comic-Con, I agreed to work with a few artists. Both of them screw me. And the whole point of the Buddy Scalera comicbookschool.com, the whole point was to work with people who were new to the industry, who had no credits, and we were going to rise together. We're going to help each other trade off by giving each other something to sell. So someone was going to draw a 4-page, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, might have been 5-page, or is it an 8-page challenge? I think it was an 8-page challenge for Buddy. Yeah, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so I did an 8-page challenge. I think I split it between 2 each. So here we go. This is Dark Justice Burns. Now, I actually used an action figure. Those are action figures that I used, and I kind of changed the colorings on them deliberately. You notice one's just a little darker than the other. In the story, that actually makes sense because in the story, one has an earlier suit. I'll let you into a little bit of a secret. Dark Justice was supposed to be these three characters who all play the same hero to the public. The public has no idea that there are three guys dressing up as the same character. This gives them the opportunity to look like they can be in two places at once, that they're coming from all angles. It's like a magic trick. All three of them are never seen at the same time deliberately. And even when they decide to spread out and leave, if anyone ever caught a capture of them, you would see conflicting reviews and stuff. And one of the more interesting things that I created, it's not in this story, but they actually would hide their, if they had to, they had a trash bag in their actual uniforms, their suits, and they could take the trash bag and fill it with their costumes, and the costumes would go in a trash can and have it like a GPS locator. And I even had them using, this was written, a lot of this story was written back in 2002 to 2005. I had them having like an iPhone before there was an iPhone, but I had it on a gauntlet. You'll see at one point that, well, I think one of them talked, yeah, there it is, the system failure on the arm. It's actually like what an iPhone was. And I remember I had a couple friends read it, and they're like, there's no way someone's going to be able to have something on their arm that can read emails, show you videos, do all the stuff that you want it to do. That's not possible. I also said that there was going to be a corporate president. I picked a woman because I thought we were actually going to be, you know, I don't know, progressive in America. Apparently we're not so progressive. But I actually had a woman win the election. But I saw it. I saw a corporate president. Let's see. Agreed. Sarah says, less lag on YouTube, so I'm in this room myself. Come on in. Come in wherever you are, people. Yeah, YouTube's been doing a lot better. And author Michaela Jade says hello. Hello, Michaela. And yeah, so like this was very interesting to me. You guys can see I predicted well, not predicted, but in the story in 2020, because this is the year I had in mind, even though I don't think I mentioned the year in anything on purpose because I didn't know where I was going to be. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll put it in 2020. It's far enough away. Because I started writing this in 2002, and I started putting these out, you see, in 2015. And I still saw that there'd be riots and there would be these areas. And that's a picture I took. By the way, all these pictures in the background, all that photography that I'm using in the background, and I'm using tips and tricks to change it, that's actually me in Photoshop taking care of business. So you guys can see some different angles. There was a lot I learned by doing these earlier books, even in the way that storytelling was. And I learned pacing a little bit. And, you know, I enjoyed everything about what wound up happening. And for some reason, and I'm noticing this now, I can fix it later, there is no end page here. There's actually a page missing, and I'll make sure to fix that before you guys get the book. But it's a very interesting tale, and it's an important moment. Here is the first ever, and I'll give you guys a look at it. This was the first time we mentioned Fetish Babies. The first logo, all the things we were going to do, and of course, Fetish Babies becomes Barbara Unleashed. So you guys get to see that. You get to see original stuff and how things have changed. And I even talk about it a little bit here about the different releases. And I honestly did not realize I was missing a page. This was created years ago. So I'm going to have to go back in and add that extra page. And you guys can see QRC codes. I love them. I really hope they come back. All those are dead now, but I will leave them just because they were part of the original release. Originally released under my now ex-wife's comic book company that she had opened to try to help me out after I got hurt. She was trying to do something nice, but she didn't live up to anything and wasn't listening to me. I didn't feel like I was ready for it, and it was one of those moments where someone helps you and they're not helping you. But I did like the logo. The logo did get people to stop. Now, here is me with the first of Jackson. Here's me with the first ever artist. So here I am, an actual artist. That's my drawings, and I'm proud of it. And granted, I know people can do a lot better than that. Again, after back surgery, I'm drawing this. I'm drawing this like this. I can't bend. My lower back got fused, a double fusion, no bending whatsoever. think about your life not bending forward. And that's exactly what I have to do. And Russell Allen said he found us. Michaela J says, that's so nifty. And Sarah S says, I love the art. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the kindness. And I did all this on my own. Obviously, this is not the easiest thing in the world for me. I drew these from composites. I did other things. I did anything. Anything I could do to get this to work, I did. And we have a whole bunch of, like, this is actually a reference to Dark Justice, believe it or not. And I'll just leave it at that. And this is it's meant to be, for the record, this is meant to be a splash page. And if you look, there's a blue line that takes you through the story. And I love collage pages. You'll see them in the future in my comics as well. For those who don't know, I am Ukrainian. So that is why you see the Ukrainian symbol. So, and then this is where she comes back to New York and she's Gothic Blue. So I'm very proud of the work I did. It is not obviously the best thing I've ever released art-wise, and I've never released art after this. But that was kind of the point. I did this after back surgery, and this impressed people. And this is really the moment when I released this that people really began to take me serious, because they saw how passionate and how energetic I was. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break to check out one of my friends and what they're creating. So let's move over and check out the Oswald Chronicles, issue 1 through 8. Oh, no. For my friend JD.
Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and I'm the writer and creator of the Oswald Chronicles. I'm here to share with you a current campaign for issues 7 and 8 of the Oswald Chronicles, Passing Queens and Making Homes, where we see Oswald have his final confrontation with the Dark Queen and her orc army, and the ramification on Oswald and his newfound friends. We're also offering up It Came Seeking Me, a one-shot adventure with Oswald and his friends, where an evil dark force visits Oswald to ask for his help. So please, check out the rewards. We have regular covers, virgin covers, sketch covers, and for those of you who are new to Oswald, we still have a few copies left of prior issues. Thank you for your time, and please go buy yourself some awesome books. JD out.
And now JD is a very energetic, very passionate creator. So good friend. I've known him for a while. I love the fact that he continues to create. And you can hear Jax in the background. He's all talkative now. I think he's just trying to get my attention. He had one of those days of a cuddle fest and a nap, and now he's watching his YouTube. So back to me for a minute, because I do want to continue on what we were talking about, and that is my newest campaign that's going on here. So hold on one second. So here we go. So we saw Dark Justice. There's Gothic Blue in the original forms. I don't even have any of those anymore, so those are all sold out. And then Gothic Blue Christmas. So Gothic Blue Christmas, I hire a artist to do this. I'm not going to go much into it. I'm not even going to credit him, because I paid money and he disappeared. And yeah, Jax does need his own show. He would be a ham too about it. I'm telling you, Jax would be such a ham. So Gothic Blue, it's supposed to be like the Charles Dickens classic, a very short story. And I did all this because this artist came to me, and I'll say this, he came to me begging for help financially. He was like, I'll do any job. I paid him a higher rate than he was willing to do. I paid him his fair rate. So I didn't even take advantage of his moment. And he didn't finish the work. He got 2 pages in on what was a 4-page story, I believe. It's either 4 or 5. I have to look at it, what it was. It's going to be a 4-page, because I only have 4 pages now. But I think originally I wrote it as 4 pages. So I wanted to test the relationship with this artist. Great art, really a shame. It could have been really a great thing. But in this format, in this book, I can show you the unfinished art and explain what was going to happen and give you some information on that. And here we go. JD says, dropping in to say hello. Anderson Rob, can't stay. I have to stretch my legs before I attach permanently to the chair. Talk to you soon. Good show. Oh, man, he must have just missed the fact that we were actually talking about him. And Sarah S. says, I love the name Gothic Blue. My sister did great with that name. So Gothic Blue, this would have been a really cool thing. It never got to be released the way it should. Maybe we'll redo it down the road and give it the love it deserves. But at least I get to show you the story that's behind it and kind of introduce you to that universe. And who knows, maybe in 2021, we'll start creating that Dark Justice universe. And I found out after from my UK fans and the people out in the UK that, yes, I know that apparently someone's hungry. This show is brought to you by Special K. I know that he made me lose my train of thought. We'll try to redo it. Let's just put it that way, and we'll leave it at that. And of course, this was released in the Fourth Monkey. Look at that great art by Mr. Hodson. Hodson did a great job. I don't know why he's not listed there. The other day it updated this. I must have to go back into there to do it more and update the artists again. Not Facebook. Kickstarter was acting weird this week when I was doing a couple updates. So that's why I haven't really promoted it as much, as I had some things to fix. I would go in and fix something and it wouldn't take. I sent them an email. Hopefully it was just a glitch for a day or two, I hope. But either way, this story, for the first time ever, you won't have to get it through the Fourth Monkey. You'll be able to get it through there. I want pizza too, Michaela Jade, and so does Jax, but we want New York City pizza. That's a problem. We can't get there right now because we're in Florida. All right, so we're going to move on to the pain box. So the pain box, obviously, you guys have heard about my back issues. You've heard about all the things I've gone through. Well, this is me explaining how I think the future should be, and I think the future should make the people who judge you feel the same pain, because every day I'm in pain. I don't sleep well. There are weeks I go without sleep. Like you don't even understand how much pain I'm in. And that's kind of the point of this story, is that when people get hurt, they're treated a lot differently, and you don't understand it unless you've gone through it. And I wanted to tell a story like that. This is the first of 3 parts. I want to introduce you guys to it. I want to see if people are interested in it. I have a great idea for a stretch goal as well, and some other rewards. But before we get into the other rewards that'll be offered during this campaign, I want to show you my other friend's amazing story. And that is, come on, here we go. And here it is. Let me bring it up. This is Ness. She's a great creator, and I'm happy to promote this amazing story that I'm such a fan of. So let me do this. Let me see. For some reason, it's not letting me go full screen with it the way I want, but hopefully this plays well. All right, here we go. Now, those who are regulars, damn those hidden endings. Those who are regulars on the show know that sometimes I play videos to go run and feed the monster known as Jax. I love that kid. So he's eating strawberries and Special K now. So here we go. We got this is available on Indiegogo, by the way. She's doing fantastic. Let's get her over her goal. 91 backers. Let's get her way over 91 backers. Let's get her to 200 backers. We have 20 days to go. Let's make sure that we're supporting Ines, and we're gonna do great things together. We're always gonna work well as a community. I appreciate all you guys tuning in, being part of this show today. And I wanted to invite just 2 of my friends on. Of course, I do a crowdfunding report every week, but I wanted to kind of just make it special. I do want to show Cat Dad and Supermom. That's available on this. I'm going to play. It's on Indiegogo right now, but you can get it through the Kickstarter as well. An all-ages tale that teaches morals with farts and shows the power of imagination that will entertain everyone in your family, including the parents reading the book. Thank you for hitting play and allowing us to introduce you to Cat Dad and Supermom, the award-winning Farts with Morals storytelling awesome adventure that people seem to love. And we could keep going that way. We could use words that could try to get you to be excited and convinced to buy it, but I'd rather just be honest with you. I'd rather be humble with you and tell you why I created the story. You see that little boy over my shoulder, right over there, and the other side, the super mom, and the big elephant that farts? All of that is based on my boy. He's a special needs 5-year-old who I love with all my heart. And he has made me a better man and has taught me what unconditional love is. So if this story is about him, the standard had to be higher. That's why I got one of the best artists in the world in Raheel Mohsin. I got Chuck Pino, who has done such great work as an editor and as a writer himself, to be part of this. Both of them became co-creators because of how much passion went into this. It was about passion for creating a top-notch story that was meant to entertain your entire family, and I think we did that. The rest, they're all keywords. They're all ways to convince you to do it. Truthfully, this is a story that matters to me, and it had to be one of the best stories that I wanted to share with you. It advocates for people who get bullied, and it advocates for the right things to do when you see someone get bullied. It advocates for being a better human being, but it also represents my son. And because of that standard, because of the fact that my son is in this book, it had to be one of the best things I could create probably in my entire career. Anytime my son is attached to something, it is that high of a standard for me. So if you're looking for a reason to back this Kickstarter, it's because, well, because I love my son, and I wouldn't put anything out with his name on it that wasn't amazing. Thank you for watching, sharing, and backing Cat Dad and Supermom, and Ella Fart never forgets. So, hi, Jax is said by Sarah. I want pizza. I'm envious of your computer skills. I would love to do videos like you do. It just takes practice. Honestly, there's nothing too special about some of the things I do. Some of the things, I'll be honest, they take a long time to learn. They're not always easy. I'll admit some of the things I can do are just God-given skills. I'm lucky enough to be able to be handed technology and just be able to do whatever I want with that technology. A couple other quick mentions. Here's the adult, a little bit of a risky picture for you guys. Before you play, here you go. Before you play, make sure you know. I don't know why the video's not playing right.
Today for you guys, I got something a little different. For those who are fans of Barbara Unleashed, you know that we want to have an educational aspect to everything we do. We wanted to take it one step further and try something out for this. This is called the BDSM survey. This is a preview print copy that we had made to show off, and we've been able to give some people this on the road to get some feedback, and people have loved it. But when I say it's a BDSM survey, people have gotten very like, what could that mean? What is that? I found that the minute people opened it and flipped through it, they started to understand that this was going to be about them. This is going to be about them figuring out who they are and figuring out what they like and being able to share that with someone in a very non-threatening way, because you just get to fill this out and share it with someone. And of course, because it's part of the Barbara Unleashed brand, it has a lot of information. For those who've never read Barbara Unleashed, don't worry, it has nothing in here that you need to know beforehand. It'll only enhance the story to know the character, but it is not necessary. And we have some stuff that some of the readers might be, accustomed to seeing, maybe even some things popping back up, but they're important, and it gives you guys the ability to actually communicate with your play partners what you're into. And on the very back page, there's a place for notes. It's a very unique and different idea. We hope that you come along with us on the journey and get your copy of the BDSM survey today.
I promise I'm still here. I'm going to have to borrow a minute, though, because I got the Jax man trying to get me some information. So what we'll do is I will actually, let me see here. I'm going to let you into the vault, all the things. You guys see some of the things I back. So I got to help Jax with something real quick. So here, check out what Barbara Unleashed #1 was, because that's actually what I meant to drag up. So this is a quick video, I promise. I'm coming, Jaxie. Not everyone is born to be normal. Some are born to be different. For some, the rules of normal don't fit who they are. For some, life isn't about cheap sexual experiences.
or cheap highs. Barbara is drawn to things most would not understand, or worse, demonize. Barbara seeks to explore her dark instincts in the New York City underground. Join Barbara on her coming-of-age tale and watch her journey through the New York City underground. Learn from Barbara how not to become a victim of overeagerness. Back this project to explore the darker instincts of humans. Music provided by WrittenSiNs. Music used, dreams, and once again.
All right, and I am back, and we're going to close out the show. But I also wanted to mention that part of this will also, and you guys can see some of the paint box art here real quick. Matt slated the art. I did an older school. For the lettering, I chose to make it look like it was a little bit older. I like the art in the black and white, so I went with an older school lettering technique that you won't find nowadays. And I kind of wanted to try some new stuff. I like to experiment with some of my projects. Like some of these projects, I know I have the ability to explore and play with. And this is one of the ones I wanted to do just that with. So you will definitely see me breaking some rules when it comes to the way that we actually do things. And it's funny because I shared the Records Profit thing and people actually thought it was a real story. So I must have done something right because people believed that that was a real story, but it was just actually part of this story. What else do I have for you guys? That's too big. We saw Dark Gothic. Oh, the monsters are part of this in the PDF. That's right. You can also find out. And the funny thing about the monster story, and I've told this to some people, I wrote monsters based on how I felt the fetish community was treated by 50 Shades of Grey and the media as large, the mainstream media as large. So that's what the monsters are doing here. The Advocator. So let me see here. Let me get you to the Advocator. Advocator, very proud of this. It's coming back soon. We'll have a date probably within the next week or two, but check out the Advocator.
What is the Advocator? It's passion and storytelling. It's about community coming together to support each other. It's about getting exposure for creators and helping them reach new markets. It's about taking creativity to the next level by only using 4-page stories to tell a compelling story. It's a sneak peek into bigger universes. It's about the power of creativity, but most importantly, it's about you. It's about entertaining you, enticing you to read, and getting you interested in comics like never before. It's about making you one of us and making you an indie advocate. Get your copy of the indie comic Poo Poo Platter today on Kickstarter. Brought to you by Advocate Comics and the site that started it all, indieadvocates.com, the global digital Comic-Con.
Now, I do want to apologize.
Featured in this version of The Advocator are Dead Kingdom by Etienne Sterpinson-Yang.
I do apologize. Obviously, I hadn't learned to spell indie right yet. I now spell it correctly with I-N-D-E-E. So I do apologize for my spelling error. I am dyslexic, and apparently, like everyone else, didn't realize that there was not supposed to be 2 I's in indie. We got rid of that other I to get rid of some selfishness. And we're going to be offering all 3 issues from last year on that. And finally, let me tease this. There will be a story. I'm going to try to get some Terraform, PDF Terraform collection for you guys together to see what my other compadres in the Terraform publisher have created in the past, show you what we're creating, who we are. And yes, I did say Poo Poo Platter. I do mean that. It is the Poo Poo Platter of indie comics. And we're going to do some quick comments. We're gonna head on out. What's going on, Phil? Sarah says, I want some free hugs and Spanx merch. Need to get a hold of money. Must have. I also love the fetish books in a huge way. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you guys something cool. Hold on. Stay right there for 1 second. I got something new for you that I haven't even shown too much in public because this was back when I thought that there was going to be these things called Comic-Cons, back when I had faith that there might be actual Comic-Cons in the future. So check these out. All right, so just a plastic little thing, right? Isn't that cool? This can be like a Christmas ornament for my tree. I should put this on the Kickstarter right now. I didn't even think to put that on because when I was building it, but how cool is that? It's like so much better than you could wear it as a necklace. You could put it on your thing. One of the things I've been doing with the, by the way, and you'll see this next year, and I think it's a great idea. Buy magnets from Amazon for your buttons, right? I'm going to try to get on the screen. And do this, and then what you could do, you put the magnet back here. Let me stand up. You put your magnet back here, and then you do that. And now it stays on. You don't have to ruin your shirt. That's actually what happened to these shirts. I would go to shows, and Jax would pull on the buttons. He thought it was funny, and he ripped the shirt, and I'd have these rips right here. So I turned them into these for working out stuff. And that way I can promote the brand as well. But we're going to close this out because I got to go do my physical therapy. Yes to the BDSM survey. Yes. Got to get dinner. Great show. Thank you very much, author Michaela Jade. That's why I love Barbara Unleashed. It shows that subs do not equal a victim. Amen to that. Amen to that. And Meredith gives us the link for the WrittenSiNs comics as well as the Oswald and the projects for the Indiegogo Ava comic issue #1 mainframe. So great show. Thank you so much. I think that oh, here's an S. An S said, thank you for promoting Ava. And my pleasure. I love that story. I love what you're creating out there. You know I'm going to support you. We're going to get you funded. We're going to get you over 100%. That's my goal, especially this weekend. Real quick, let's end the show on a strong note with advocating. So this weekend, we're all coming together. We'll call it a block party. Call it an indie event. Call it coming to one place to show all the world what we all do on a normal basis and how we do it. Call it whatever you want, but just don't call it an online con, because it's not. Because this Saturday night, 9 p.m. on part of the indie event and on the Indie Volt radio and network, I will be talking about how these online cons have failed us. So this is not an online con. Apparently someone wants me. They're going to have to wait, and I'll call them back in a minute. But so loud. So now it's doing it here. There we go. I'll call them back in a minute because we're about to head out anyway. Indie event this whole weekend, 10th through the 12th. We're celebrating the independent spirit. We're not giving up. We're still creating. Pencils didn't go down. Kickstarters are going up. We're crowdfunding. Please consider supporting me by going to WrittenSinsComics.com and seeing the past of the Indie Devil. You're going to see me talking about this a lot in the next few days, weeks. It's a shorter campaign. It's only 20 days now. I don't like long campaigns. We're going to get in and out. We're going to get this funded. I want 500, and you guys are going to help me get to 500. And we're going to rise together. This weekend, we're going to have a lot of fun at the indie event. That's it. I'm out, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I got nothing to go out to. Just remember to be cool, be supportive, be a pair, and remember to be kind and share. And I'll see you all tomorrow on some version of the news. I'm going to talk to Michael. Maybe we'll do the entertainment news. So this weekend can just be about indie event and indie creators from all the shows I got. I got to get Meredith and see how the schedule is. But for now, I'm out. You are not alone. If you need to talk, anything's going on, make sure to hit me up, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you. And we got, let's see, we got pasties. He would actually make awesome pasties. Sarah, I mean, we'd have to check to see if they work right. I could send you a couple to see if, just for science sake, we could see if they work for pasties. You let me know. And Russell Allen said, woo, indie event. And thanks for the show, Rob. I enjoyed it. And thank you for showing up. You will get my You're Not Alone in a little over an hour and a half. And that's it. I'm out. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you sometime soon on the You're Not Alone. And after that, I can't wait to get to this weekend for an indie event.